erases their memories, but forgets to remove their rings. GG, well played. So, jokes aside, I believe that most likely Dr. Frank had a role to play with the memory eraser. Because the reason why I think that is because there's just no way, after everything that kind of happened, with the whole thing they don't want these two to get together, have a marriage, or, have a baby, or anything, then obviously they would remove something that would be very significant to have their memories come back, because we've already seen it happen to Squad 13, our main characters gaining their memories back. Hero, perfect example. 02, perfect example. We're already starting to see with Nana how she's starting to gain back her emotions and stuff, and some memories as well. So, I mean, when you think about certain things, it's obvious that, Dr. Frank had a role to play. Like, he definitely had a role to play when it comes to erasing their memories. And I feel like he probably didn't erase all of them, or at the very least didn't get rid of the rings, for the sole fact he wanted them to gain back their memories in the first place. Which, let's get right into that. So, it's very apparent now, especially after this episode. It was already there. Like, the evidence was there. But it's very apparent after this episode that Dr. Frank, he is a very, very big faction, a separate faction from Ape entirely. Even though Dr. Frank is not necessarily a good dude by any means, he is not. He's probably doing horrific and heinous stuff for the sake of science, because he's just one of those type of scientists. I don't think he's completely working with Ape. I just don't know. After what just happened with this, and how he's feeling for the fact that he wanted, this interesting development to happen with, childbirth and stuff, it does prove right now that he is definitely not in line with whatever Ape wants. For instance, Ape, from what we get from their little mini dialogue in this episode, they want to transcend their bodies. They no longer want to be attached to their physical forms, which means that a way you could take this is they want to become God. They want to become gods, and they want to be completely free from the limitations of the body of humans. For instance, emotionally speaking, and also the ability to reproduce. Like, they want to be completely separated and be something entirely new, something brand new. And that's what they were talking about. And so, I feel like Dr. Frank, he obviously doesn't want that. He probably doesn't want to have humanity separate from what it is, and that is why he's been doing a lot of tests with the children. Maybe he is trying to create a rebellion in some way to have it start, which could be why maybe he could have tampered with the memory eraser and he left the rings on Mitsuru and Kokoro at the end of the episode. That's my 2 cents. That's my, headcanon for right now until it is disproven, but that's what I think is happening. Now, anyways, let's talk about the main important part, what this episode was about. So, Kokoro and Mitsuru, they have, for about 80% of the episode, it's a very fluffy episode. Like, slice of life, fluffy, good things going on, death flags here and there, but overall, it was a fluffy episode. You saw how everybody was getting ready to have Mitsuru and Kokoro have a marriage, which I was like, I thought that is what the entire episode was going to be about. For instance, these two getting together and marrying. But once the marriage ceremony happened, everything went to hell. We had to wear Alpha and all that. They came in and they messed. They messed with the entire marriage. The Nines came in, ruined everything, and they took Kokoro and Mitsuru away. Which, right then and there, I'm just like, really? Really? You just do something like that? They're having a great time, they're having happiness, and you just, completely grab them and yank them out of there and all that, and then remove their memories. I'm just like, that's kind of messed up. That's really messed up. Kokoro and Mitsuru getting that good time, and then all of a sudden that happens. It's just like, whoa. Speaking of that, though, oh my god, the progression of Kokoro and Mitsuru's relationship completely just boggles me. I mean, they were legit getting married in this episode, and even though they've forgotten each other with the events of the end of the episode, it's still very apparent that if one of them doesn't die, at the very least, they will probably get their memories back. I mean, Kokoro is starting to gain her memories back already. When she was looking at the ring, and when she saw sakura petals, which represents the trees that were there in the middle of the marriage ceremony. So, she will probably gain back her memories. Maybe Mitsuru won't, but I do see, Kokoro at the very least gaining back her memories and probably caring for Mitsuru's child if he does die, which that is what I want to talk about. So, there's a lot of death flags with this episode. The reason why is because, number one, marriage. When it comes to marriage and stuff, especially in an action series or whatever, death quickly follows. If Kokoro didn't probably have the child and Mitsuru inside of her, I would probably say that she was going to die and Mitsuru was going to be left alone. But now looking at the events, if they want to kind of do a reversal, they could probably kill off Mitsuru and leave Kokoro on her own to fend and take care of the child. That would be an interesting twist. Or, if they want to be really messed up, they can kill Kokoro off, and she'll die with the child, and then Mitsuru will be really messed up in the head after something like that happens. So, really depends. But there was some extreme death flags with the way the marriage was handled, especially with the whole, till death does us part. And I'm like, yeah, that's a big death flag, especially for a series like this that continuously has done stuff like that since the very beginning of the story. Now, speaking of death flags and stuff like that, can we talk about Zero Two's like nightmare she had? Like, holy crap, that nightmare was pretty freaking terrifying. Like, she was sitting there in her room, drawing and all that. She got to the final page, and then she wasn't going to do it for whatever reason. And I'm going to assume it had something gloomy happening, maybe death or something. She didn't want to do the final page, and then all of a sudden things start coming out of the floor, and you just see these people, these dead soldiers, just coming out of the floor, crawling towards her, and I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden you see this giant Galactosaur hand come in and about to smash her. She wakes up, and I'm just like, okay, that's something we really haven't seen before. I mean, obviously, she probably has a lot that's happened in her life. She's seen a lot of horrible things. But that was definitely something we truly haven't seen yet. And I do wonder what that means. Is that hinting at something? Or is it just like something that has happened in the past and she's fearful? I'm very curious, but that was definitely very important for the episode with that brief little nightmare that she displayed in this episode. Now, anyways, Ikuno, she finally gets off her chest her feelings for Ichigo. And even though I'm not the biggest, Ikuno fan, I really appreciate the fact of how delicate that scene was handled. It was tasteful. It really was. Because Ichigo didn't just straight say, like, what's wrong with you or whatever. She allowed Ikuno to express her feelings, and then she's like, I understand you. Because it makes sense why she would understand Ikuno, because she was jealous throughout the entirety of the series, like the first portion of the series. She's jealous towards, Zero Two and her relationship with Hiro the entire time. And so she's like, I understand why she's getting jealous, why she's getting upset. She feels like she's an awful person. That's how I was. And she's like, I understand your feelings and all that. And I just like that little brief exchange between the two characters, with Ikuno finally opening up and expressing herself. I mean, her being potentially a lesbian, it's been around for a while. That theory has been, around in the community. It was definitely not something that came out of nowhere. I'm just glad it was officially confirmed and explains her actions she's had throughout the series. So I'm just glad that was done. It was very tasteful, and I'm proud of, the team that worked on this episode, or at least the writers for Darling and the Franxx that worked on this episode, because that pleases me greatly. Now, anything else to talk about? I think I pretty much have covered everything. The whole bodies, transcending their bodies, to the marriage, to the death flags, to the rings, to the flashback nightmares. I guess the rebellion's the last thing to talk about. So, Hiro, he wants to cause or start a rebellion. He wants to completely get out of underneath Ape. He wants to lead them. He realizes that their future, their happiness, is nothing to Ape. He realizes if they continue to be with them, their happiness is very brittle and easily just to snap like that, and so obviously he's going to take matters into his own hands to save his family, which is what he's doing towards the end, when he has that big, narration before the ending song starts playing. So I definitely see Hiro getting everybody together and is like, look, we gotta leave Ape. They don't care about us at all. They're just using us after everything we've seen, and been removing, their memories, and been having previous or prior experience that they removed my memories and Zero Two's. Obviously, they're not good people. We need to leave here. Get out of here. I see that happening before everything is said and done. Most likely, next week's episode will be convincing the entire group that they need to rebel and get away. So anyways, with that being said, I want to end this video here, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you, want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, not everybody gets notified for when I upload a video. So if you're having that issue to where you're not getting notifications, click the bell icon down below. And with that, guys, I love you. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.